Hey everybody, RC here. Welcome back to Let's Play Dwarf Fortress Anviltrumpets, episode number 8. Last episode we had kind of gotten into Dwarf Therapist a little bit and how to change settings, and I was titling out some of my new dwarfs from the new migrant wave, our first migrant wave, and we were getting them set up. So let's see, bone carving. Now I'm not ready for a military, so I want to come back into roles, and I want to give some of these people a few other things to do. Let's see, trapper, animal caretaker, animal trainer. We're going to make them stone crafters, a mason. He can help with farming, potash and lye making. He can be a wood burner. That's something he can do right now. So that'll be just some basic stuff. Alright, let's get back into the game here. So they're digging out this area. What I'm going to do is designate and then mine. And I'm going to come out and I'm going to open up this other side. And again, you're only limited by your imagination when you're setting up your rooms. So, you don't have to copy anybody else's style. Do whatever you like. All right, and then I'm going to designate these. Well, hold on. I guess. There we go. All right. And of course, when you mess up, you X, remove designation. All right, they should finish that. Okay. Now they just finished setting up our mechanic shop. We had built these other 3 shops. And I think at the last episode I had mentioned that I wanted to go in and talk about setting up repeating or permanent jobs. So let's click on our mason shop. And just like when we were adding in individual tasks, so we're going to A, and I want chairs. And then you're going to hit repeat R, and that sets it up as a repeat job. Now, using Lazy Noob Pack, you can go in and change one of your codes, and you can set up workflow. Now, in the current version, 4303, and the updated 4304, workflow is taken out. However, you are able to go in and modify one of the data points, and that allows it to take place. There is a new manager app that's part of the Lazy Noob Pack. I have not figured that out yet, and I don't like it as much. I'm very comfortable with workflow. So I did find out how to do that. I've set it up. So I'm going to enable workflow. And then because we've done the repeat, and then you hit Alt W to get into workflow. And now I want to add a limit. So Shift A, and we can then specify different things. So chairs of any rock. And then we can do range, Shift R, and then backspace to erase. Use your number pad, and I want 2 to 3 chairs at all times. Okay, so that sets up a workflow. And then when we go back, escape, that's there, and they will always make chairs. Anytime you go below 2 chairs, it will reset to make more chairs till you have 3. And you can do that from any range that you want. So there's our chairs, add a task, a table, repeat, Alt W, Shift A, add limit, any tables of rock, Shift R for range, 2 to 3, escape, add, doors, repeat, Alt W, Shift A, and then 5 to 10 doors because we have a lot of doors. And eventually I am going to need blocks as well. So we're going to put in, let's just do 25 to 30 blocks right now. Eventually, especially if you're building outside, you're building walls and buildings outside, you may need hundreds of blocks. So I'm just going to do that, and that will start clearing out some of this loose rock all around our fortress as well. So that's all I'm going to do in that one. In here, I want to set up for cabinets, which is F, repeat, and I want 2 to 3 cabinets. Then I want coffers, which is like a chest when they're made out of rock, repeat, Alt W, Shift R, 2 to 3 of those. Blocks. Now I don't have to reset the blocks workflow because I already did it in the other workshop. So if you're repeating a job to where you have 2 people working on it, and I recommend that if you have high quantity jobs, then you could add that. And let's see. I'm going to make a couple of floodgates, a couple of hatch covers, and a couple of grates. Now I'm not going to repeat those, so those will just be one-time jobs. So what will happen here is they'll make a cabinet, a coffer, a block, then they'll go through these, and then these will disappear, and then just these 3 jobs will be left, and they'll go back to working on those. So we'll escape. For my crafts dwarf, A, I want to make items out of rock, G. I want to make rock nest boxes on a repeat. Now I won't need a lot of these, so we'll just do 1 to 2. Alright, and then I want to add pots. That's for brewing and food storage. So I do want a lot of those, so we'll do 5 to 10, and then add rock mugs, and I want 10 to 20 of these. Now we can trade these, we can use these to drink alcohol in the fortress. That will eventually be my primary trade item, and I will up that probably to 300 or 500 at some point. I just want to get caught up. Alright, and I believe he's building a crafts dwarf shop there. Alright, so mechanics, make rock mechanisms on repeat, and all I need is 5 to 10 of those. And so what's going to happen is now the people that are designated to do masonry and stone crafting, there he goes. He's already started grabbing stone and coming in here and working. So I want to add G. We're going to make mugs here, and I tell you what, since I already put mugs here, I put in a number, but I'm going to rechange it. So watch, if I hit Alt W, there's the 10 to 20. I can change the range here to 50 to 200, and that will actually change it. If we go back here, we can go down to mugs, and we can open Alt W, and it's changed in both workshops. So that is going there. And now we have them digging on the other side. What I'm going to do, since they will be building doors, I'm going to build doors, D, and I'm going to go into planning mode, Shift P, and I'm going to go ahead and place, and all you have to do is get over your spot and hit enter 1 time, and I'm going to go ahead and place doors in all of my workshops. Now the reason you do this is a safety issue for one, and that's the primary issue. If there will be points in the game later where you have somebody will get into a mood of some sort, and they can go insane and get violent and potentially kill other dwarfs. So when they do that, they're inside the workshop. You can actually lock these doors to where they can't get out, or nobody else can get in to get hurt. All right. Now, let's see. I don't have enough people for hauling, so I will do something later on in here where I'll make stockpiles for my stone, and then I'll do wood down here. But sorry about that. You know, I do my videos in my living room with my family, and they do chime in every once in a while because real life does continue to happen while I am playing my games. So let's see. All right, let's go back outside. All right, they cut down another tree. All right, we're not using the carpenter shop now, so I'm going to hit X and delete that. We'll go back down, build workshop, carpenter's workshop. And we'll go ahead and place that there, make it out of stone. And I'm going to build 2 of these, and I have enough room dug out there to get that done. And we'll let them continue digging out a little bit. We'll come check around out here. And, you know, again, you do need to get, I don't have anybody idle right now, so we do have a lot going on. Of course, now I've built my workshop, so those guys are in here working consistently. That means there's more items to be hauled to workshop, to the stockpiles. All right, let's see. So we've got 2 carpenter shops set. I'm going to build a E. Let's look at that. E is a furnace. And we're going to build a wood furnace. And this is where the wood burning skill will come into play. So we're going to put that right there. And once it's built, we'll set that up with a job. And basically you do this just where you always have a few items that you know you're going to use on a regular basis laying around. The blocks, the tables, the chairs, you know, things of that nature. All right, so this one's open. We're going to build a workshop, and this is going to be an ashery. That's going to be Y. We're going to put that right here. There's my, you need a block, a barrel, and a bucket. All right, and then what we're going to do is I'm going to hit P, which is, let's tab over. So P is, sometimes I just forget what they stand for. Stockpiles. So P and bars and blocks. Okay. Then we're going to come down here and we're going to fill in this room. Now you'll notice if you look real close at it, the stockpile is around the edge of the room because we built the workshop in that 3x3 part in the center. So we're going to escape out of that. Then we're going to hit Q, which is query. We're going to go over that stockpile. You see it's flashing. And we're going to leave the bins. Remember, bins are boxes that you can store things in. You don't want to use those for weapons, ammunition, or armor. But we are going to change settings. Then we're going to use our up and down arrows, go down to the bars and the blocks. And we're going to block. We're going to forbid metal. We're going to use up and down, and we're going to forbid stone, metal, other materials. And then we're going to tab over, and I'm going to use the enter button here. Now I want to turn off potash, leave ash, turn off coal, turn off pearlash, and soap. So what's going to happen is we're going to burn wood to make ash in this shop. Then they will bring the ash bars to this stockpile, and then the ashery can take those bars and make potash out of it. Now, what I'm going to do now is I am going to come up and do stockpile again for bars and blocks. And I am going to build a stockpile here at the end of the room, of this hallway. Query that, leave the bins, change the settings. Now you can, instead of doing that, you could actually block all, B, and then go down and turn on potash. So, just to follow the workflow, remember a few videos back I said whenever you're going to set up workflows that require multiple points, let's pause it for just a second. So we have our wood burner here that will burn wood, make ash bars. Those will get transferred to this stockpile. The ashery will draw from that stockpile and then use the ash bars to make potash bars, which is a fertilizer. And then those potash bars will be brought up to this stockpile right by the farms. And then the farms use potash to fertilize the fields to increase the production rate of the crops being grown. So, you know, you have to kind of put everything in place, and I don't have to do this now, but I am going to start making potash as soon as I can, and so I'm going to go ahead and set the stockpile basically so I don't forget, because again, if I don't have it there, then those bars just start stacking up immensely. All right, so we're going to unpause it again. We're going to get tab to get rid of the little screen there. I've got doors set to go in here. Now see, they bring it to the stockpile first, and then now somebody should come grab that at some point and move it over here. Now it looks like they brought a table in, so let's go to F2 for and we'll go to our mason shop, and you can see here, there's the 4 jobs that I set up. The A tells me which one they're currently working on. That's the active job. If there was a red S, that would mean the job was suspended. And typically, when you have this set up with your workflow, it's suspended because they have reached the amount that you designated in the job order, is what that means. Okay, let me pause and think about what's going on for a moment. All right. Everything that they build here is in turn brought to a stockpile. So let's DD for mining. We're going to build our doorways here, 1 doorway each. And then we're going to build a short hallway. And then we're going to do a short hallway this way as well. In fact, we'll do it all the way up. And we want them to have access out of the workshops into that hall. All right, and how about right there for right now? And then we will do all right, and that's going to be a large stock room. Once we get that set up, we'll set that stock room to take the stone materials from these shops. We'll put them here, and then we can take this stock room and delete it to where all this stuff gets moved out, or change it to wood. Okay, let's see. Now we got a warning there. They canceled a drink. Okay, ooh. Let me check something here. We'll go to Z. All right, so we have 40 drinks. Okay, we've got our office. I have not set these up yet. So let's go to N for nobles. And you'll remember a few episodes back, I set up my nobles here. So I have a manager, a medical dwarf, a broker, and a bookkeeper. The red means they do not have what they need to do their job. And my cat's back. So what I need, this is Arish and Keycrossed. All right, so I'm going to Q, and I'm going to highlight his chair, and we want to make this a study. So we're going to hit R, and this is the area that makes up the study, the flashing blue. Now I'm going to use my minus key to resize that down. You can use your plus key to make it bigger. So we're going to downsize that, hit enter. We're going to assign the chair, and we're going to give that to Keycrossed. And you'll see right here, using DF hack, I can make this that I can allocate to my bookkeeper by pressing the number 1, and that turns that on. So if he ever dies or I change another person to be my bookkeeper, it'll automatically change that desk. I won't have to remember it. Okay, so that'll be good. So we're going to do that, and you'll see here, he now is white, which means he has what he needs. So he'll start doing his bookkeeper job. So the other person was Arish. All right, so Q, and we'll do the other chair. We'll use the minus key to downsize that. There's Erish, and again, manager. So we'll hit 1, and that'll turn that on. So again, if I ever change managers, that will automatically change with that person. All right, right now, you'll notice my miner was through there hauling a moment ago. And they will probably come back here in a minute. Oh, nope, he started digging out. One of them has. All right, let's see. Just building this shop here. All right, so they just finished building here. So I want to open that, and I want to add a task to make ash. So A, I want to repeat that. Go into my workflow with Alt W. I want to add a limit, bars of ash only, and I want 35 to 50 of these. All right. And then they've already got my ashery up, so I want to add a task here. And we're making ash, so I want to make potash from ash. Repeat, workflow, and I want 35 to 50 bars. And the reason I set it that high, I want a lot because it's going to take a lot to fertilize our fields. And you set this higher so they start making more before you're completely run out. If I would put 1-50 or 5-50, then they have to get down to 5 bars before they start making more. And then you end up running out and not being able to have enough to finish finish the job. So once I see them working on that, now see, you'll see here that they canceled making potash because there is no ash yet. And that's going to happen. You'll start getting job cancellations, but that's okay. Let's see, build workshop. Trying to see what else I want to make. We don't really need anything else that uses wood, but we can use a leather works. So we'll put a leather worker here, and we will put a clother's shop here. And then what we're going to do is make stockpiles. I'll make a leather stockpile, L, and we'll put that in the room around the leather worker. And then we will change that to a cloth stockpile around the clother's shop. And those are set, if we look at them, they're set to allow bins. So we'll come back up to the top here. And there's my cloth stockpile. There's my leather. So what we're going to do is go P for stockpiles, X to remove designation. And we're going to remove those stockpiles. That now empties this room. So they will no longer store that here, and they will move these bins of those items to the correct stockpiles down here where they are ready to be used in those two industries. So that will get set up eventually. And I'm going to set up a build workshop jewelers, J. And we're going to put that here. And I want to build a stockpile for gems. All right, and then we're going to queue to query that stockpile. We'll leave bins in there. We'll look at the settings, go to gems, and I want to forbid rough glass, cut gems, cut glass, and cut stone. So the only thing I want in there is rough, uncut gems. That's it. Now, let's see. O is workshop orders, and then Shift W, and we had already, you remember in the very first episode when I was setting everything up, I had already toggled gems to be auto cut. So I'm going to build another stockpile for gems, and I'm going to put that right here. I'm going to queue or look at that one, and we will change the settings for that, and we will only keep cut gems excuse me, in that stockpile. So as we're digging, if we find gems, like that's a quartz cluster, if we right there, they will pick these up, They will put them into this stockpile. Eventually they'll bring some bins in, and then they will cut those and then move those to this stockpile. Speaking of, I have not set up my carpenter's shop yet. So I need buckets, and we need 3 to 5 of those. I need cages, and I do want 5 to 10 of those. Beds. Now I've got the bulk of my beds, so I don't need 5 to 10, so I'm going to keep 2 to 3. And you can see we had already built 5 when we had the workshop outside. So right now it'll be, you see that S I was telling you about, so it's suspended. So when it's suspended, as it works its way through the list, it will skip that one until we've used up enough beds to turn it back on. All right, after a bed, I need bins. And for those, I want 5 to 10 of those. And mine carts, I just want 1 to 2. I don't need those right now, but I will need some later. And wheelbarrows, and we'll get 3 to 5 of those. Step ladders, again, I don't need a lot of those, just to have 1 or 2 sitting around. Splints, 1 to 2 of those. And crutches, 1 to 2 of those. All right, now I have 2 shops. So you'll notice I've set up all those jobs in the first shop. The second shop has nothing showing. You have to add the jobs for each individual shop, but the work order, so like if I add beds and hit repeat and then go into workflow, that's already there, okay? So splints, crutches, wheelbarrows. Mine carts is so low I'm not going to worry about that. Bins I'm going to want. Cages, when I use those, they go quickly, so I'll need 2 people working on those. And you can make barrels, but barrels are used for food storage and alcohol storage. The rock pots that I'm making up in the craft store shop do the same thing, so I'm not going to duplicate the effort. We're just going to leave that alone. I've already got buckets, and I don't need a ton of those, so we'll call that done. Now, if you don't have more than 1 person set up to do that type of job, he will bounce back and forth, or he'll work at one and then go to the other one, and it will take a while to get caught up, and that's okay. But, you know, I'm wanting to get it set up now so we're at least progressing in the direction I want to be heading. All right, so we're digging out the stock room here. I want to build a door. Now, once you've turned planning mode on, you remember I set all these doors a little while ago, that stays on until you turn it off. So you don't have to keep turning planning mode on each time you want to use it. But you do have to remember to turn it off. Now, there can be a point in time where planning mode is not conducive to what you're wanting to do. For example, I think I mentioned once we start building temples and we may want gold or silver doors, if we make a gold door but we have all these doors already placed and they don't have any specific material set, they'll take the gold door and put it here in the workshop. So you do have to be careful about that a little bit later on. Still nobody idle, so everybody's working away. And again, we can check that as well by hitting, well, we're saving here at the end of the quarter, so we're halfway through our year. So we've been here about 6 months, and that will take a minute to save. Sometimes it seems like it takes forever, and you always get nervous that you're going to have a crash here. But we're in autumn, waiting for the save to stop. And we do pause automatically because that's how I have it set up. All right. Now, you notice I double clicked on this shop. So if you click once, it shows the workshop with the work order. if I click it a second time, it's furnace is made out of marble, and then I have one log and 2 bars of ash. So they have made 2 bars of ash that have not gotten moved over here yet. So you can always look and tell. So there's 1 click, 2 clicks, so their blocks are piling up. That's something I have not done yet. So let me pause for a second, and I'm going to go to this room here, and I am going to stockpile bars, blocks, and we're going to set this room Q settings block all, and then we're going to permit P any blocks made out of stone or clay. Okay, so now I've given a stockpile, so that's why that's stacking up here. I did not give them a place to put it. Okay, so their blocks are stacking up, and he's got a task. He's getting some siltstone and bringing it in. So now that we've set that, you'll see him start coming in here and pulling blocks out and bringing them upstairs. All right, we came up here. All right, I see him right there, but you notice we changed screens. I did not do that. So let's go to our alerts, and there were several alerts. So our farmer is out of cave wheat, and then we have a thief, and our mace dwarf was interrupted by a kobold. So let's zoom to location. There is my yellow cursor. So that's where it happened. So we actually had a thief that got inside the fortress, but he is right there. And you can see Deacus, the kobold thief. Now, nobody is chasing him. That's my kitchen worker. All right, let me go to U and find my hammer dwarf. He's making rock mugs, so he's in the crafts dwarf shop on the 2nd floor. And my mace dwarf has no job, so he's right here. So what I'm going to do, let's see, how much time? I tell you what, let's go ahead and put a cut in here, and the next episode we will show how to set up a military and at least have that done. That way he's in the military. And this shows that we have some need for additional defenses as well. So thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.